What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The David Lopez Show, presented by Passion Park ENT. You know what it is. I am glad to be back. It's wonderful to be back. Got a lot of sports to talk about. Little life, I guess. Not too much life, but I'm gonna get into it pretty quick here. But before I do, a couple things I just want to highlight for you guys. First off, if you're listening to audio, then you get a couple ads up top anyways. One of those highlights the necessity for you guys to go vote, or the urge from myself to you to go vote. So I just want to highlight that real quick. Make sure you register to vote, and early voting is open, so you can go do that. That's pretty much the only kind of political thing you'll hear on this show at all. But I just want to say, go vote. That's what you got to do. Do your thing. Do your thing. And then also, as far as this show goes, for everybody who supports, it means the world. It really does. If you listen to it, watch it on YouTube, whatever, however you consume the podcast, it really, really is important to me. It means a lot. But that being said, if you want to contribute yourself, if you want to maybe, ask a question, leave a comment yourself, you can do that obviously on the on the video or something. You can just comment there on a post on Instagram or whatever, but you can also leave a voice message that can get on the show. The link is in the description for every episode. If you go to like Spotify or Apple, whatever, there's a link there that says if you want to leave your own message on there, you can do that. So that's a cool little feature. I would love to include some of that. So even if it's just like a comment you want to say or whatever, you just want to get on the air, as long as it's appropriate for the show, I'll definitely throw that on there. So make sure you check out that link. It's included right here in the video. So that is there for you guys. And also, if you're, listening or watching, just please subscribe, share, like, comment. Really helps out. Means the world to us. But yeah, that's all the plug stuff. Let's get into the show.
David Lopez is the name. It's my show. Welcome to it.
So, I said there was going to be some life stuff. Not really much life stuff, I guess. What I really just wanted to talk about is that I just been making a lot of music, and that makes me happy. Obviously, it's still, a weird situation work-wise with everything, so I'm not, out. I mean, I'm doing some stuff, but that being said, I have a lot more time, which has been, you try to find silver linings throughout this whole
If I get corona, I get corona.
coronavirus situation. What I should have done is throughout this whole
Coronavirus! I'm telling you, it's real.
yes.
It's getting real.
And through this whole coronavirus, I've been trying to find some silver linings. Obviously, it's a terrible thing, and it's still around, and really, really, it's not going away. So, we got to still be cautious about it. But what I'm trying to say is there's been some good things. First off, I've had some time to work on my music, get my studio together a little bit, and get a plan together really for a long-term plan. In all honesty, I've never had a plan this far ahead for how I want to release music. So I'm like months ahead calendar-wise and everything about how I want to release stuff. Obviously, every week, I release a new episode of Live from the Home Stew, which is really just me performing a song from my catalog. But that's going to keep continuing along with the release of new music as well. They're all going to go together. There's going to be a lot of new video content and music content, and I'm really just gearing up, planning ahead. So I want to say, I appreciate everybody staying along for the ride, as I know I haven't released a song in a couple months, but yeah, so that's where that's at. And I've been making a lot of stuff with one of my close friends who just started making music really. And we've been sending stuff back and forth. So that's been really fun. I've really been enjoying that. Another silver lining, I definitely got better at cooking. I'm not like a chef by any means, but I can cook dinner now. Shit, I cooked dinner tonight, and put it on a plate and put it, wrapped it up and shit, because my wife is working, and then when she gets home, she can just heat it up. You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to do some things. I'm trying to set, step my game up. I think I got better at some household activities around this house that we have here. We got to put some things together. These are all positive things that got to happen during this. So, I just try to be upbeat. And in all honesty, it's not me so much trying to be optimistic and upbeat. This is kind of just my natural disposition, I guess. Marijuana might help that too, obviously. And getting to do the things I love, I think really helps that. Like I've tried to manifest a life where that is, where I can be this, I guess, joyful and the best version of myself. So anyways, I am, I'm in a optimistic state. Hopefully, I'm not saying about because there's all these things going on in the world. Obviously, the world is burning down. California's dealing with these crazy fires. The political landscape is just insane. We have a presidential debate tonight as I'm recording this. I'm not paying attention to it. I'm more so watching the baseball playoffs. At least, this is one of the off days. I texted my brother today, talking about. Thankfully, the baseball playoffs have started because this is one of the few off days now for the NBA. There hasn't been many days without basketball on. And or basketball or football now. So, those are the things I consume the most right now. But anyways, that leads me to the transition of, I'm going to get into a little baseball talk before I swing over to I guess real time, because I am recording the intro and going right into my Zoom conversation with KT, which is going to be our NBA Finals preview episode. So stay tuned for that. If you are not interested. I got 7 minutes. Sorry, I had to look back. I have 7 minutes until he hops on the line for that. So if you're not interested in this baseball stuff, you can skip ahead. But all I really want to highlight baseball-wise is, I mentioned this, the Cubs and the Sox both made the playoffs. And I'm, a Chicagoan. I would never cheer against the Sox. I grew up going to Cubs and Sox games. I go to more Cubs games than, as an adult, I've gone to more Cubs games, I would say. So, and I grew up on the north side. I guess, whatever. So I'm not taking that away from people who are like, you're a Cubs fan when they're winning and then you cheer for the Sox too. No. Chill out. Check my track record. Check the receipts. Always been this way for me. Plus, I don't give a shit. Anyways, White Sox won today in their first game of the playoffs. If you don't know, the playoffs have expanded for the major league, so they added some extra teams. So there's 8 teams in the playoffs now, making the first round only 3 games. So what's interesting about that, for me, I mentioned this when we did a little baseball preview when the season was going to come back. They were trying to figure out what to do. I like the idea of a shortened season because it really put an emphasis on every game. And there's a nice relaxing aspect of having 162 baseball games and just having it every day, and it's just in the background. I joked before, it's good nap stuff. You want to have that so you can take a nap during the middle of a summer afternoon. And, that's true and shit. But the funny thing is, even with 60 games, that shit still worked. 60 games was enough to make every game pretty important, but still not like, the playoffs important every game. So people were still chilling, watching. I bought the package where I could watch the Cubs out of market because, as I have said before, I moved from Chicago right now. So I don't have every Cubs game, obviously. And I bought the package to it was $50. You get to watch all their games for the whole season. That probably was discounted because of the shortened season, but it was worth it. In the beginning, you got to remember, baseball was the first sport that came back, so I was really watching these games for like a week, and then the NBA came back, and I started switching, and I was really watching mostly basketball games. But nonetheless, the Cubs package did come in handy because I would switch over and I would watch the games while I'm watching another thing. I'd watch it on my phone, so it was worth it. And frankly, I'll probably keep doing it every year. So shout out to MLB for having that availability. Like I've said before, the NFL needs to make that possible. I don't know why they're not doing this. Just make it so one team you can pay for out of market. That's all you need. That's all. Like, people would pay for that shit. So you don't have to spend all $300. God. But anyways, so this is really cool. We got Cubs and Sox in the playoffs now. It's exciting. Like I said, I liked the shortened season. I thought that was cool. Now, the idea of this 3-game playoff series, the emphasis on each game is huge. So the Sox got a huge victory today in game 1 of their playoff matchup against Oakland, who, I think most people would favor. They were the higher seed. The Sox kind of collapsed. They stumbled into the playoffs. They were dominating, they were dominating for a point. They went on a really, really big hot streak. That's the thing about the 60-game season, is the hot streaks and cold streaks really come and go. I don't know. I read some shit. I don't know anything about this. That said something about they're thinking about the 80 game to above that point, the records start to normalize, I guess. Whatever the fuck that means. Nobody gives a shit. People are starting to stop caring about baseball, however the hell you want me to say that correctly. So whatever. If it's gonna be a random champion every year that might not be the best team every single year, the most talented every team every year, that's probably cool for baseball. It's probably a good thing. So I'm kind of for that idea. And maybe this playoffs first round will call for some upsets. I'm not sure. I actually think it bodes better for really good teams, because if you have a top 2 starters that are just, lockdown starters, you should be able to get those 2 victories real quick. I guess the the comeback to that would be that could go bad because one of your starters has a bad outing. One of your like aces, Clayton Kershaw chokes in the playoffs. I'm not trying to say that he would do that or has done that, but that could be a possibility. Who knows? But we'll see. We'll see how the first round turns out. I mean, we're gonna have these results in 2 days. I'm recording my NFL episode tomorrow, and that's where I'll get fully into how my betting was this week and how satisfied I am with the Bears 3-0 start. But like I said, I'm not talking about football at all today. We're just a little baseball, getting into that. The Sox huge victory really bodes well. I think they can get one of these next 2 games, so I got them advancing out past the first round, and that's really exciting stuff for Chicagoans. And the Cubs start tomorrow at 1 o'clock, which is what an awesome sports day I got tomorrow, which is Wednesday when this episode will be coming out. I got a 1 o'clock Cubs game to watch, and then I got NBA Finals at night, so I am very excited for that. Cubs got to get 2 out of 3 against the Marlins. I'm confident that they can pull it off. So I'm saying go Cubs go. Between Darvish and Hendricks, I think that they can get these 2 victories. Hopefully they don't have to go to a game 3 because that will be pretty frightening. You know what I mean? And for my household, this reminds me, my wife is a Brewers fan. The Brewers also, she cheered for the Cubs and then we won the World Series though, so let's give her that. She's a Brewers fan. So, the Cubs and the Brewers are both in the playoffs. So that's kind of cool for our household. I have to change out my flag in front because we have a Packers-Bears half flag. I got to change it out to Brewers-Cubs, at least for the playoffs time. I think that's appropriate. But yeah, I think it's about time that I hop on this Zoom with my man KT. We're going to do our full NBA Finals preview. I'm excited. We're going to get into our predictions, obviously, and a bunch of other stuff. I mean, I got storylines. We got some coaching stuff. This isn't even just NBA Finals. This is just NBA talk, some coaching stuff to talk about. Including bowls. So anyways, I'm going to swing over to my conversation with KT. I was just doing the intro to this episode, and I was saying how awesome tomorrow is for me as a sports fan because it's Cubs playoff game at 1 o'clock, and then the finals at night. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah, that's a good day.
Otherwise, yeah, I don't know. It's been an awesome sports. Just like that's pretty much been consuming that part of my life, and then otherwise just like working on music and shit. I don't know.
As obviously because it's been such a crazy year, but just sports, man, has been like just so pure. Like with just literally just, especially not having sports for a fraction of the year, we were so desperate for it, but everything came back in all these leagues. It's just been like pure sports. It's been actually amazing as a fan.
Yeah, we might be spoiled going forward because this is so cool.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, it's like you said, it's such a bad year in so many aspects, but like the way it all came together sports wise, and we also just got to say, like, I don't know. I guess I kind of thought that it would happen, but a lot like this wasn't always going to happen. That every sport was going to get to a season. Like
yeah. Everything was pretty much up in the air. Nobody knew what was going on, but the fact that, are we glad it happened anyway, though?
Right. And also, like, the more I was thinking about it, I don't think, like, because a lot of, especially in the beginning of this, we were like, is this going to be one of those weird, like, is this going to be like an asterisk on the playoffs or whatever? It doesn't, like, now after going through the whole thing, it just doesn't, it feels normal. It feels like a regular,
man, like when we, who talked about this? I think it was Shannon Sharp on Undisputed with Skip Bayless, and they were like, it's an asterisk, blah, 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 blah. In 1999, when the Spurs won, that was a lockout shortened season. There's not an asterisk next to that. It's just the Spurs were the 99 champions. Like, that's it. Like, obviously, it's a weird year because of everything that's going on, but the fact that, hey, you play and you win, it is what it is.
Yeah, that was a 50-game season, I think. And
like 50, 55 games, something like that.
It was also weird. It was the year after the Bulls dynasty, so it was just like a weird season.
Yeah, it was a very transitional year, and it was just like,
that Derrick Rose MVP year, or was it the MVP year or the year after? No, the year after.
The year after, which with the wasn't it the year when they started on Christmas, right?
Yeah, was that it? I don't know. One of those years.
One of those years, yeah, same thing. Like they started on Christmas and the whole thing. So it is.
I think the Mavs won it all then.
Yeah, 11 of the Mavs won that year.
Yeah, there's no asterisk. There's no asterisk on that Mavs title. There's no.
Like you play, when the ball's up, it's an official game.
Right.
You win or you don't. It's that simple.
Right. Well, all right, so before we go into like all the like basketball specific stuff and some of like the matchup shit, actually I got to get off my playout bracket just to see exactly how we did. But before that though, like the most recent NBA news for this week really is some coaching stuff, and we'll just get this out of the way. But first off, yeah, Doc Rivers got fired. The Doc Rivers LA Clippers saga is over.
Honestly, I think pretty much you probably seen it happening. You know, is it fair? Is another question. But honestly, I think you pretty much knew somebody had to pay the price for it, and unfortunately, a lot of situations, the coach is the person to pay the price. But I mentioned this a long time ago. So I think Doc is a great coach. Like, obviously, his social stance, notwithstanding, just when it comes to X's and O's inside the line, I think he's a great coach. But you do have to ask, is he overrated in terms of how good of a coach he actually is? Of course, he's a great coach. But then when you look at his resume, he only coached out multiple blown 3-1 leads. You know, when a lot of people think he severely underachieved with that Lob City Clippers team.
That's exactly what I was going to say. That was the point I was going to say. Is I think one of the big testaments to coaching is if you can get the best out of your players, and his track record pretty much is that he really doesn't normally get the best out of his talent.
Yeah, you know, having Tracy McGrady going, then going 3-1 lead, and you know, obviously that Boston team was outstanding defensive juggernaut and everything like that. But you can even argue that team low key underachieved too.
They should have won two. They should have won two. Yeah. I mean, well, the one was Kendrick Perkins got hurt. They probably Kendrick Perkins got hurt,
which worked out for my Lakers.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
But they were really close to winning that one, so they should. I mean,
they were. Yeah, you know, and then pretty much after that year is when they blew it up, and then everything just went sideways. But yeah, so I mean, I think he's a great coach. I think this particular season, because everything was so weird, I thought you knew it was going to happen, but you know, you probably could at least maybe he would get another year as a full season just to see whatever it's going to be like. But I mean,
yeah, no, I think that's the thing that's the craziest about this. Or I mean, if you want to call it crazy, is the surprise. I don't think it's that wild that he is not the coach anymore. Frankly, like the thing about whether or not he's deserving of being fired or whatever, and I get people like bring that up, like he shouldn't have been fired, doesn't deserve it. I feel like if you're coaching a team for he's been there for so long, at a certain point, it's just a decision. It's not even like you're bad. It's just like, we're going to try to do something different.
But it's tough because Greg Popovich, rest in peace to Jerry Sloan. Sloan.
Those guys had
those guys, reign. They were there for 20 years.
How long that's a good question. I got to look into the early Popovich years. How long was it before they got good? For him, did he have a long leash?
No, they so you know when he had Tim Duncan, Dave Robinson from the jump, and then he went from them to Tim Manu and
wait, so when did he start coaching? Like when was he? When did he get that head coaching job?
Didn't he come in the year before Tim Duncan in 90?
Oh, really? Well, then
I think so.
Then that makes sense.
So he, yeah, I mean, yeah. So he had a great foundation from the jump, but obviously, you know, the Spurs. It wasn't just Greg Popovich. You know, they had a found. When you look at the core they had, we look at Tim Duncan, one of the greatest players of all time. When you look at their front office, their executives, and everything. So obviously, everything the Spurs are a model of consistency for how organizations are running everything. But the thing is, he was there for a long time through mistakes and all. Jerry Sloan in Utah. Utah wasn't always necessarily the best team, but they're always competitive every year. You knew Jerry Sloan was going to be there, and everything like that. So. You know, it's just, but things are different now. Like aside from Greg Popovich, are there any coaches who really have the capacity to really be there a long time? So,
well, I think there's two really interesting points to this. Well, there's kind of a lot of interesting layers, but the two of them are, well, first of all, the firing from what I heard, I was just listening to something else. Came directly from the ownership, from Steve Ballmer. So to talk about what you said with consistency and like those guys, Popovich, Sloan. I mean, Spoelstra's an example he's probably one of the longest tenured coaches. He'd probably be there for a while. Pat Riley. So like their leadership is there. Who's another guy who I was thinking might be? Oh, Brad Stevens, maybe. But Danny Ainge is consistent. We'll see. But anyways, the point is the Clippers did go through an ownership change. They had to. That's a reason that Doc Rivers maybe should be given a longer leash, is because he really helped usher them through that terrible.
Yeah, I mean, he weathered the storm. Obviously, with
what was his name again?
Donald Sterling. Another Donald. But so that was all that nonsense. But he weathered them. But again, when you look at the talent, that was the Clippers' highlight in their entire existence as a franchise, and you could argue they severely underachieved.
Yeah, I think that's underachieved, and I think that's a fair argument. But do you feel weird that the owner overstepped the GM and the president of basketball operations to make his call. I mean, he has that right, but that doesn't happen all the
So
time.
you know what I think? I think as fans of the sport, we're so used to owners not really paying attention to their team. Like it's almost like, you know, because these owners are all billionaires and they have other investments and ventures and things like that. So their NBA team is more like a toy, right? They just kind of just something to pass the time, something for whatever. So we're not really used to seeing owners really involved, you know. Like off the top of my head, the most involved owner I know off the top of my head is Mark Cuban, which is shout out Mark Cuban, real guy.
Yeah.
You know, for the West, like Mark Cuban always been real.
That's an awesome story. I'm glad. I was a little surprised, honestly, not to be like take anything away from Mark Cuban. It's awesome, but I was a little surprised that was the first time that happened. Like that nobody else would have picked him up because this isn't the first time we've seen Delonte West.
Yeah, it isn't. But you know, because I watched Mark Cuban on a Shark Tank. And there's also just following him on social media and how he carries himself. He's always been the guy that he walks the walk and talks the talk, right? Like
I like,
you know,
Mark Cuban,
and then you know, I really started to mess with Mark Cuban when Dallas won the championship. Just seeing how he was really involved in it, right? Like Steve Ballmer has an element of that. Like I mentioned a few minutes ago, you don't see owners really being involved in it. It's just more like a hobby. They have a team, is what it is. But when the owner's really involved in everything like that, it just feels different. Which is why the fact that Steve Ballmer overstepped, you know, other people to make it, which again is full within his right. It's not like he doesn't have a right. It's not like he did anything out of the ordinary. It's just the fact that we're not used to it because these billionaire owners have so many other things going on that these teams kind of just become their toys and they just kind of just come and go as they please. So, I mean, yeah, it's weird, but I just think, and then also maybe it was necessary. You know, you just needed a change to really get something out of it. But again, it's just, man, sometimes the coaches don't always get a fair shake, but they got to kind of take the blame because, you know, you really can't, the players can't take the blame, you know, like, so.
Well, I mean, like, so I think that's you made some good points there because like, I do see that first off, he cares about his team. He's always there, obviously. Yeah. If Mark Cuban were in the same position and he made the call and overstepped the GM, people probably aren't saying anything because they know who Mark Cuban is a good track record. I could see a situation where a GM or president of basketball operations who works there could be like, yo, what the fuck? Because the one other interesting point that ties into this is that I'm pretty sure Kawhi Leonard, part of the reason that they signed is to play for Doc Rivers
coach. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, again, so, you know, I know Kawhi had the short-term deal. What it looks like after next season, that obviously as we get to next season, everything gets to that point, all the talks and the chat is going to heat up again, of course. Yeah. But it does make the question like what. And also as a side note, funny thing, wasn't it a whole little drama thing about Paul George used to date Doc Rivers' daughter and everything like that? Yeah. So that had to make for a really awkward interaction going on. That was very awkward.
So because and then Austin Rivers is now married to his daughter, and Paul George used to date her and like cheated on her with a stripper and got her pregnant or something like that.
Yeah. So that had like, as a father myself, I don't care who I'm coaching. I don't care if I'm coaching LeBron.
He was probably struggling with that.
I'm probably gonna break your neck. I don't care who you are.
And the stories came out though, but that's part of that's probably part of the reason he's fired too. Though the stories come out after the season that their locker room was like, we already thought there were some issues, but it sounds like there was more issues, and a lot of them were Paul George, I guess.
Yeah, I know it was reported. Again, we don't know how true it is, but it was reported that he basically told guys, let's come back for one more time, let's run it back. And people were just like, bro, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, sit your ass down. Like,
you're not leading us.
You're not the one to make that proclamation and say this. So sit your ass down and shut up. And honestly, man, who made this report was like, over time, again, how much is actually going to come out, we don't know. But you definitely get the sense that there was a lot more to the Clippers that obviously that was reported. But also remember, they weren't sure as a team, they weren't sure they were actually going to play with a restart. They like some of them didn't even really want to play, obviously for other reasons and things like that. But yeah, so I think it was a lot more in that locker room that was let on. I think this is just the first domino that Doc had to catch it.
That's fair. Those are the kind of things that a coach does have to be held for. Not that you have to have your team getting along, but you do have to there have to be some level of chemistry. You're kind of responsible for that, so I can see that. So I guess we'll go real quick because we don't need to spend the whole NBA Finals preview episode on the Clippers who actually lost.
Yeah.
But
blew the 3-1 lead. Love it.
But so you're like Kawhi Leonard might have 1 year left, so it's probably like they're trying to win a championship right away. What
win
two coaching names I kind of thought of right away. I thought of Ty Lue. Now I hear
Yeah.
that he has apparently beef with Patrick Beverly. To me, that shouldn't be anything if they want him.
Everybody has beef.
Yeah.
Everybody has beef with Patrick Beverly, but Patrick Beverly has become he has been for a long time, but this past season he's really this bubble in the playoffs has become such an unlikable player
Yeah.
that I would actually rather see Lakers who actually likes Patrick Beverly as a player, honestly.
I mean, I bet you some guys can get along. I feel like Kawhi Leonard and Patrick Beverly are fine. They probably don't have issues.
I feel like Kawhi Leonard just stays like
Yeah.
Kawhi Leonard is just one of he sticks in his own lane. He
Right.
just goes whatever, but he also like I don't know when you see some of the antics and all the chattering that goes on and all those things like at some point it's like especially when you don't really have anything to show for it, like nothing you do warrants that kind of like puffing out your chest, right? Like so it's like come on, man.
That's how
like,
Montrezl Harrell is too. But I like Montrezl. I mean,
I like Montrezl. Yeah.
Pat Beverly's just Chi-Town. And then Sam Cassell.
Yeah.
Sam Cassell is the other name that I heard some people talking about. So I'll be curious to see.
I mean, Romano, before you move on, Doc, do you think he gets the Philly job or he coaches somewhere else, or he's just gonna take a step back?
I heard he's got 2 interviews right away. I think he's gonna get a job. I think he's probably gonna take a job right away. I guess it's a good point because it's all about if he wants to coach. I mean, because I'm sure if he decides, I want to take a year off, he'll be on TNT or something like that. But so wait, what are the options? I heard Philly really likes D'Antoni.
Philly. Which it was a rumor that the idea, the thinking behind the organization that they can probably lure Harden to Philly, which I don't.
Yeah, I heard that too. I heard that rumor.
How realistic that is?
It was Harden for Embiid. Harden for Embiid was the rumor, right?
Yeah, but so Philly, Houston isn't that they have an opening? Yeah. Indiana, is Indiana have an opening as well?
Don't take that. All right, so if I'm Doc Rivers. If there's
Philly or Houston.
I was gonna say if you're Doc Rivers to keep you out of a retirement where you can just chill and broadcast and get paid probably decent, it's got to be Houston probably. I think.
Yeah,
I think Houston.
Philly or Houston. Yeah, Philly or Houston. I know. Jeff Van Gundy's a name that's thrown around too. His name's been thrown around for a couple of years now. Anytime there's a vacancy. So
somebody made the joke when I was listening to today. They were like, "Man, Jeff Van Gundy's agent is great because every year he's just in these talks, but he hasn't coached in forever. Like, he's just like in these conversations.
He is. His name is always thrown around. Yeah, man.
Yeah, I'm expecting to see a little coaching carousel. But actually, as I think about the Clippers move, it's like a weird timing thing, but it's not really because the NBA draft is going to come up really quick. I'd rather have a new, at least idea that you're going to have a new, coaching staff for that.
Yeah.
100%. I'm all right with that. Whatever. And then another coaching news before we get into the finals. The Bulls got Billy Donovan. I don't think we talked about it. I can't remember if we did or if we didn't.
I don't remember if we did or not. I honestly, he's better than Boylen.
Oh yeah, well, that's not even.
Like,
I mean,
that's not a bar. That's literally like down here. Like so, that's not even like a huge talking point. But he did obviously had success with OKC, especially this past season. Obviously, Chris Paul and the way that he ran the team has a large part of that. But I just think he does have experience coaching a young team, and the Bulls do have a little bit of talent there. Still have a little bit of work to do, but I think he'll be all right.
I think it was a good move too, and I think exactly what you said. Like if the Bulls were on the precipice of like they were like a 3 seed this year or 4 seed this year, and you thought maybe they were trying to make the hump over, I don't know if I would have loved this move.
No.
But he has a track record of the young guys played well.
The Bulls are literally in the basement.
Yeah.
All they can go is up. So you might as well just throw some at the wall, see what sticks, and just see what comes out of it because you literally can't.
Right.
You can't get work, honestly.
The biggest thing is player development, and the guys played well. I think we talked about the fact that it seemed like Chris Paul was more important to that than even Billy Donovan, but he has a track record that those young guys played better, and like that's the only thing I can hope for the Bulls is like some of these guys, Lauri Markkanen somehow all of a sudden turns the corner and becomes good. Kobe is better than we thought. Like you have to have one at least of these draft picks turn out. I think Wendell Carter is going to be all right. But
I think he's still gonna be good, yeah. So we'll see. But it's all it's so much on just the entire organization. The entire team just has to really do something.
They got to do something. The most exciting part of this move to me was how Arturis and Eversley how they handled it. Like, so they liked him, and if they find somebody they like, I mean, I respect it. That's their vision. They liked him right away, and they went right after him. Like he went free, and they were like, "Let's go." And to me, we haven't really had that before. So like that's dope. Like I like that. Like
I mean, yeah, just that kind of thing is just a change in direction just from what we're used to anyway. So
yeah.
we'll see how
We
it
need to
is.
do that
Yeah.
now with a free agent. Like, we didn't have that.
Yeah.
We never had that in the
Yeah.
past. Like anyways, I'm somewhat optimistic. So that's a good note there. But all right, let's switch it up. You excited about the finals? What do you think?
Yes,
Excited?
yes. Yo,
I'm
I
so
just want to
pumped.
I want to shout out either way. Chicago Public League is well represented between AD, between THT, between Kendrick Nunn. Like Chicago, like
So
yo,
like, list them off. Yeah, it's
yo,
Anthony Davis went to Perspectives.
Perspectives.
Talon
Taylor
Horton Tucker.
went to Simeon. Kendrick Nunn went to Simeon as well.
Right.
So
And then
they're
also
well,
JaVale went to Hales, which isn't public school, but still.
which is hella cool, but still in the region. So they're well represented in the league. And man, so when I lived in New York the past couple of years, I was telling everybody, Chicago has the best basketball scene in the world. I don't care what nobody say. Obviously, everybody from different states has a different opinion, but as you can see, we're well represented with the talent and with the showcase. Like it's amazing.
Yeah. Chicago's always is always been pretty well represented in the NBA. We've had some great superstars, but also just a lot of players from Chicago that have ended up playing in the NBA. Do you remember growing up? I always remember this. So back in the day, they used to show like more high school All-Star games and stuff. But do you remember they did the Chicago versus New York All-Star game every single year?
I don't remember.
Oh man, so for years it was like, because that was the like thing, like New York's got the best basketball players, Chicago does. There was this high school game that was the Chicago versus New York All-Star game, and it would get obviously not like the biggest stars because the rule always was you can only play in 2 All-Star games, so you could only play like McDonald's and the and the Adidas, or for what the other game was, I forgot. But you can only play in 2, so like you would get like the secondary third. Like I think Sean Dockery might have played in it, like maybe Will Bynum, like those guys. Actually, no, those guys were probably a step above it. But anyways, it was like Chicago versus New York, and those games used to get real. That's what that reminded me of.
Love it.
I still got to go to New York and play basketball. That's what I want. I want to play at the Rucker sometime. That's what I want to do.
Man, that's one thing I did not do while I lived in New York is play the Rucker, and that's to talk about missed opportunity. That's an opportunity once the landscape kind of gets back to normal a little bit, much more normal than what we are now. I'm definitely taking a trip to New York specifically to go to the Rucker and play, like specifically for that.
I might tag along, man. I want to.
I have to just one night, just one day, check it out, just to really get a good run in. I have to.
That's a great goal trip. Like, the other kind of thing I would like is like, how people do with the baseball parks going tour to tour, but I would totally do that with the NBA stadiums too. Like go to every single 100%. NBA stadium in the year. That'd be cool. A lot of money though. Fucking you don't get, and you can't do it if there's a bubble, and you can't.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, we not enforcing any place.
Which, by the way, I know we've mentioned, but like, I've liked it more without fans. I think I have. Like,
man, so I know Adam Silver said, they originally were shooting for a Christmas return for the next season, but I think he announced that they pushed it back to after January.
Oh, they did? I didn't even hear that. They did.
I think that's the last time I was watching Inside the NBA. I think that's what was talked about. So I think they're still unsure of when you can pack the fans in again. But yeah, this has been, like I said, pure, just like almost a return to strictly rec center pickup game, strictly pure basketball.
I just like it because I really like it because, like, you hear them. I mean, obviously, you still hear the fans. They've done a good job of still having some fans, like, sound and stuff in there.
Yeah.
I don't know how weird that is if you're there. It might be weirder if you're there. But like, you get to hear more from the players. I feel like the players are more like I think this is boding well for the younger guys. Like, I don't know. Like, some of the younger guys seem to be not as intimidated by I mean, I think, look, we'll get right into it right away. I think Tyler Hero would not be scared of a big moment without. He's confident enough where he can handle the crowd, I think, and he's played at Kentucky. Those are big crowds. But I do think that these elements have kind of played well for these young guys.
Yeah, 100%. Like we mentioned earlier, when the restart first went off, when TJ Warren was on a scoring tear and all these other guys kind of just came out of nowhere, right? Which is hooping, man. Because that's all it is. It's literally. Obviously, with the progression of the time, people have brought their families in and things like nature. But when it first started, it was strictly basketball.
Right.
There was no travel needed, no bells and whistles. Strictly, you walk into your room, whatever. You come back to the basketball. strictly hooping. No other
No,
detours, none
yeah.
of that. Strictly
I
hooping.
love it. I know. I miss this shit.
And it's been amazing. It's been amazing.
It really has. And with that being said, it's like strictly hooping. And what's been cool is like you've seen some teams, like I think we've got to see better execution from people than we would normally see. Like we actually are seeing offenses in the NBA. You know, like there'll be people who complain like, oh, I like college better. It's more real basketball or whatever. I actually think we've been seeing a combination of both. Like, especially like, so Miami, actually it's a good example of Miami versus the Lakers. The Lakers have two of the best 5 players in the entire world. And they can kind of sometimes not really play sets and just kind of like go let
just
them
play. Yeah, just run through them. Yeah, just
and
play.
whereas the Heat need to, and they're really good at running sets and really run shit, and they need to be good. So we kind of got to see both. It's been pretty cool.
Yeah, it's been fantastic.
So what's your so on the Miami Boston side? We picked Boston at 7, and there was a chance that could have happened when they were starting to make that little run back there. What's your biggest takeaway from Miami taking them out in 6?
Man, Miami, they got some dogs. Jimmy Butler. I think he's been underappreciated by the wrong people, right? So us as fans and the hoopers and even the guys in the league, when you listen to people, they love Jimmy Butler. They love his grit, his toughness, and the fact that he knows what he is and he has a chip on the shoulder and he plays to that, right? Everywhere Jimmy Butler's been, he's trying to transform, and they've done something, right? He took the Bulls to their last playoff run. Took Minnesota to the playoffs for the first time in like almost 20 years. And he's been back in Miami. They're back in the finals again. So Jimmy Butler is proving that he's a winning player.
He was a Kawhi Leonard buzzer beater away from taking that team to. I mean, that Sixers team could have kept going. You really don't know. They could have. Kept going.
And I just think he probably just the wrong people didn't really get that. It's been documented he butted heads in Minnesota with Andrew Wiggins and Karl Anthony Towns. As we can see, Jimmy Butler probably wasn't the problem. In Philly, there were some issues with that. As you can see, Jimmy Butler wasn't the problem.
Yeah.
As a Bull, as a Chicago native, and I as a sometimey Bulls fan, I was pissed when Jimmy Butler was let go from the team.
Right.
As you can see, he wasn't the problem. So I just think he was definitely unappreciated by the wrong people. And Miami, they're not scared of anybody. Yeah. Like I just think the way. So Pat Riley obviously put the team together. Eric Spoelstra is a fantastic coach who is finally getting his respect and is just dudes. Obviously, when you have LeBron, D Wade, and Chris Bosh, Hall of Famers, it's easy to kind of just you can just get a wet paper bag and coach. But you can see he actually knows how to coach and make adjustments and do his thing. But I just think Miami, they fit together really nicely.
Yeah.
Like honestly, I think they fit together. Their team fits better than the Lakers. The Lakers just have LeBron and AD, which account for so much and cover so much.
That's the real. I mean, I think that's the thing. That's what everybody's been saying. Is like Lakers have the best top 2, and then the Heat have the next best 6. Like basically.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that are really interesting about this Heat squad. I think first off on the Boston, just real quick, Boston. I think they really squandered a chance to. They never looked as good as we thought they were. That's probably a testament to Miami. So I don't want to take away from them. Like they looked good, that zone really, but that zone shouldn't have fucked with them as much as it did. But Boston, I think, really did lose a chance. Like they had a chance to make the finals legitimately.
A legit chance, yeah.
And most people would have picked them favored. But Miami has, I mean, we both said, we thought Miami looked like they might be the better team. They just look good.
Yeah, and maybe a testament to Boston. They're still young. In terms of
but I hate. How young are they? Didn't they go to the conference finals when Tatum and Brown were rookies?
And they went to Game 7. Yeah, that's true. And honestly, look, Kemba, I love Kemba Walker. Didn't really look too good during this run. Gordon Hayward looked absolutely horrible during this run.
Yeah, I mean, he came back early.
The injury and everything. So.
But Brad Stevens, I thought made some mistakes. I mean, whatever.
He got out coached. I mean, that's a fact. He got out coached.
Yeah.
But yeah, Miami just came in. They were confident and they looked like they knew, like, we're gonna get this.
The fourth quarter of that Game 6, though, I think that's the most frustrating thing if you're Boston is that they had the Jason Tatum block. They were that close away from getting that victory. Then they had the lead by 6 with 6 minutes left, I think, and then all of a sudden Miami looks like they're like, yeah, we want to end this, and then Boston just starts pulling up for threes, and they look like they kind of they're
And so that's when like not even youth, but just like not even just youth age wise, but just inexperience, right? Where you really gotta have somebody take the bet, like, yo, look at like recognize the score, look at the situation, read the situation that we're in, and we gotta make that winning play. We gotta be look at the position we're in. This is literally our season on the line. We have a chance to go to the finals.
Yeah.
We need to really calm down. Let's do it this way. They don't really have anybody that can really,
Well,
take that charge.
the reason I picked Boston, honestly, the reason I even picked Boston against Toronto was because I thought Jason Tatum was that guy. He kind of was in Game 7 against Toronto, if I remember correct. But
I think Jason Tatum's skill is that guy, but he's still like not really like that
yeah,
person. Not like I feel like Marcus Smart has a really strong head, like leader personality, but Jason Tatum has the
Yeah.
the game and the skill to match it. So if you pair those two things in the same person, then okay, things might
well,
be a
you're
little
right.
bit differently.
You're right because I think Marcus Smart took like 20 something shots in Game 7, in
Yeah,
Game 6.
yeah,
Like, he took a lot of
so-
shots because he was like,
yeah,
"We're not going
so-
home." Like, you're
yeah,
not taking. them.
yeah.
You're
I mean, yo, credit to him. He wasn't laying down. He was
Yeah.
not. He wasn't quitting. He was going for it. And so it definitely. But look, Miami just looked like the more comfortable team.
Yeah.
The obviously they're tough. They defend really well. They're well coached. Honestly,
Yeah.
they just came in and they just put it away.
No, they deserved to win the series. They did win the series, but I do think, like I said, Boston had a chance too. They squandered some efforts. It
Yeah.
was closer than 6 games. It was almost like it felt like a 7-gamer. But
yeah.
I think Miami. I want to get to Jimmy Butler stuff because they have two advantages that this bubble and this quarantine situation really did, and it's what we kind of said before is like having a couple months off was almost like an off season. Then you have another season, so like I wouldn't even count this that. This isn't like that same team they had during the regular season. First off, their starting lineup is completely different. Well, two players different, should I say? Kendrick Nunn and Myers Leonard, who haven't even played. They just don't play.
Yeah, they haven't really done too much.
So their lineup is different, but also those couple months off were almost like an off season. So it's like you're in the second year of the Jimmy Butler regime. You're in the second year of Tyler Hero. But you're still in the first year of their contract.
Yeah, right, exactly.
They kind of hit a sweet spot, and I think they're good. They're really good. So Jimmy Butler this is also one of those rare situations where, look, I hated Garpax, and I think they were wrong, and I hated their answer was just like, I think right before they traded him, they said like, we know what we have in Jimmy, and then they traded him like 2 days later or whatever it was. They clearly was butting heads. I didn't love how the way that was handled and stuff, but at the same time, I don't necessarily say we keep Jimmy. We're in the finals, you know. I don't think we would have got the right coach. I don't like.
No coach we've had since then has really, I feel like, can really get the best out of not only Jimmy Butler but the talent around him. Because the Bulls do have several pieces that obviously need a little bit more growing to do, but it's not like they don't have anything at all, right? They have a few things here and there.
I mean, and maybe we can. I mean, I think that, you know, if you have Jimmy, then things change how you assemble a team.
Change,
all those things are different. But so that being said, I wasn't ready for us to let him go. And I mean, we got Levine and who do we get? We got what's the point guard? With the long Chris Dunn.
Chris Dunn, yeah.
So we got them two basically for Jimmy Butler. I mean we lost the trade. Jimmy Butler's taking his team to the finals. But then he goes for a couple other teams. He drives he makes an ESPN spectacle about the Timberwolves thing. So that's not like the best team. That's not like, I understand he's a dog, but that's not necessarily the best locker room move. I mean,
not at all. Like that, not at all. As a culture creator and the thing, no. But it was hilarious that was it that he had the third stringers and he beat the starters.
He did it though on a day that he knew. I think he like called Rachel Nichols or whatever, and they like knew that they were coming. So it was all a show. Like, and then he had an interview right after. Like they knew they were doing it, and then he was going to request a trade the next day or whatever.
That was all drama aside, the fact that he took the third stringers to beat the starters, bro.
It's hilarious.
No way, man.
And Tibbs was definitely happy about that because Tibbs knew what he had the whole time. They were like
100%. 100%.
That's the thing is about the whole thing, and then he goes to Philly, which is a weird situation. I think the real thing is this is a situation where it's just right, the right timing. It just happened. Everything happened. Everything happened the right way. He should finish his career in Miami. That's what should happen.
I mean, it just as Presley constructed, it just fits.
Yeah.
Like, so I obviously we're gonna get into our prediction a little bit, but even if Miami loses, the fact that the team they have, as Presley constructed, they went through this run together and they learned each other a little bit more. They definitely should run it back, 100%.
Yeah, I actually didn't look at any of their contract stuff. I would imagine most of their team hopefully is probably still under. Yeah, they should. I mean, I think they could be. It's weird. I mean, the East is good, and with Brooklyn coming back, but they should be a top 3 seed. You would imagine, no matter what.
Yeah, they're going to be 100%. Just obviously health reasons, things like that. They're going to be a top 4 seed, again, maybe how much this depends on the bubble. It remains to be seen. We'll see when the next season comes back around. But they seem like a team that they don't necessarily need to be a top seed.
Yeah,
because they're gritty, they're well coached, they have talent that even if they're a quote unquote lower seed underdog, that they can still play well enough to really steal some games on the road anyway. So
a lot of this stuff is about matchups. A lot of this stuff is about matchups, but I do think that they would have beat any team in the East this playoffs. They look. I mean,
they were hungry and they just looked comfortable.
Right.
They looked like they looked and played and carried themselves like they were the superior team, even though they had the lesser record. But
right.
That's the contrast to all that. Shout out to Coach Spoelstra. Shout out to Duncan Robinson and Tyler Hero. Getting it done. Like they just everything's just clicking for them. Honestly.
We picked Boston, but I was definitely cheering for Miami. Like I loved watching them play. Like I wanted them to make the finals. So I'm glad we got this matchup. I brought it up last week on this when I was talking. I was like, man, I didn't even realize. But then I was starting to match up that we were going to end up getting Pat Riley versus LeBron James. So that's one of the big storylines we got here. And then before we get into exactly the matchup, we'll just talk about you were exactly correct. You picked the Lakers over the Nuggets in 5.
Yeah. And I just think Denver kind of just got gassed a little bit in terms of just mental toughness because to come back 3-1, 2 straight wins, that's the one thing. Which again, they have the talent, but then also when you look at Jokic, killed the previous two series, right? But the Lakers are so big and so physical that he couldn't just bang have his way with them like he did with the Clippers and with Utah.
Yeah,
they're like, Dwight Howard. Again, shout out to Dwight Howard. All the slander he's getting is ridiculous. People just really forgot how good and dominant he was. He's a for sure Hall of Famer. Whether they win or not, he's for sure a Hall of Famer. But he looked phenomenal. Yeah. So much so that shout out to Coach Vogel for making the adjustment to have him started. And that made
he accepted his role. That was huge. It was like Jokic couldn't handle the physicality of it. I mean, nobody really gave the Nuggets a real chance in this. The matchup was really bad.
Except the haters. The haters. All the haters are like I will say, there's a compilation on Twitter, right, of every step of the way the Lakers have played. The narrative changed so much. When it was Portland, it's the most dangerous AC to ever play. The Lakers are in trouble after losing game 1. Come back and win. Then Portland should have been there anyway. Okay, move on to Houston. James Harden and Russ are going to kill them. The Houston, the small ball run and gun, Lakers can't do it. They're in trouble after losing the game. Come back and kill them. Houston was dysfunctional. Russell Westbrook did it. And then go to the Nuggets. The Nuggets are really good. Those are kids. They're going to beat them. The Nuggets shouldn't have been anyway. The Clippers would have been. It's just the narrative.
The Lakers won their 5th game in this series. Did you have a poster board of all these things that people were talking shit about the Lakers, and you're like, "Fuck you guys! I told you."
100%. Oh my, 100%. I retweeted every video. Literally, shout out to everybody on Twitter who kept receipts and put these together. Nick Wright, one of LeBron's biggest supporters, has kept a consistent and running catalog of every single way the narrative has shifted. And again, it's just an effect of people hating LeBron for whatever reason, and also because the Lakers. The NBA is right again when the Lakers are being back to being one of the hated teams.
You know what it really is?
The NBA is
it really is? All right, yeah, of course the Lakers are one of the most famous teams, and that's always been the case, though. What it really is that First Take drives the narrative in all these sports things, and so their show is predicated on making these weird highlights, and so is most sports media. It's predicated on these weird storylines, and I get it. And all First Takes talks about every single day is the Lakers or the Dallas Cowboys. That's all they talk about every single day.
First Take, Undisputed, all these guys, and I get it, right? And we're in this age now where everything is a spectacle. You gotta play a persona, right? You gotta either. I'm gonna use LeBron. LeBron is, one of the most famous people, probably one of the most famous people in history, right? The most famous person in the world today.
That's fair.
So in order to drive views, you either got to be a LeBron hater, critique everything he does, or you gotta be a LeBron lover and worship everything Gunner. Like it's like, man, honestly, like I get, we gotta get the views and things, have these outrageous takes to get the clicks, but at the same time, it's like, man, when can we let's get it back grounded and have true actual basketball takes and not just throwing some up in the air and see what comes on, because it's like, come on, man.
Well, those shows you're not going to get. I mean, those shows you get a little analyst stuff, but like you're not going to get everything. That's why I love Inside the NBA, because it's really a mix of both of those. They've done a good job.
You get the ridiculous guarantees, but then you also get like the nuance, like legit, like in mind of an actual critical, this is what's going on type of thing. So yeah, by far my favorite.
And like you just can't take anything they say too seriously, and that's to my point about about the Charles Barkley comments from last week. That's to my point, is I never take the shit he says fucking serious anyways. I don't listen to that.
Charles Barkley is one of my favorite. Like, I love Charles Barkley. One of my favorite people on TV. I think the person on the NBA team is phenomenal, but just some of the thing like. It was a thing who I think Kenny talked about this a long time ago. He was like, obviously Charles Barkley gets a lot of flack for things he says, right? He puts his foot in his mouth, he talks too much trash, whatever. But people forget Charles Barkley was a hell of a player.
Oh, he was amazing.
He was amazing. It was a hooper. If you take him and what he was, because he was an undersized power forward, right? Still doing what he does. He will be the perfect monster in today's game. Like crazy, right? Yeah. So people forget how good of a player he actually was because they look at the ridiculous things he has on TV, right? But aside from that, he actually knows the game. Obviously, he says things for the jokes and the things like that. But when it comes to actually knowing the game and actually playing, it's not like he was just some sideshow front runner. He just got on somebody's culture. No, he led a couple franchises, and he just had the unfortunate situation of playing in the same era as there's number 23. So that's what it was.
Had a championship.
Yeah,
Zion before Zion, basically.
He was a hooper, man. So obviously, now he's known for the outrageous takes and the things like that. But Chuck was a hooper. Right. Can get buckets.
No, absolutely. And so those shows drive all the narratives. They may have been talking some shit against the Lakers. Some people talk shit against the Lakers, whatever. But they made it. They beat the Nuggets. Nuggets had a great year, though, so congrats to the Nuggets. They should be right back in it to fight for the next couple of years with that core.
Yeah. They'll be right back in it. It's amazing to see just going forward. I know we talked about Michael Porter Jr. I just think, he's obviously, still got some ways to go, but he's coming. He's coming,
for sure.
And just are you gonna be able to have that exist with Murray and Jokic, or do you flip them against someone else?
I don't know. This was another case of the Nuggets. I think benefited from the bubble as well, because I'll tell you what, I think Jamal Murray would have had to break out playoffs, but I doubt he's having like a couple 50-point games if you're playing. It's weird how it works out. I mean, if they're losing 3-1 and they're in LA and the crowd's going crazy, maybe it doesn't work out how it worked out. But anyways, they had an awesome storyline, and that was one of the coolest storylines probably of the whole playoffs, was like Jamal Murray and Jokic, like how they just like kind of carried that team. That was awesome.
I just think, man, because we've been so starved for sports, and this has been such a crazy year in general that nothing really, because every day it seems like some new story is kind of erasing our memory from the previous day. That, man, to come back from 3-1 twice is. It obviously it's never been done before. To come back twice and then also just have the run that they had, and also going,
I was looking it up to see. I was looking it up to see if any team had come back from 3-1 in the first round and then made the finals eventually. And oh man, I forgot. I feel like it did happen once that somebody came. I forgot, like Steve Nash's Suns came back against the Lakers from 3-1 in the first round.
Yeah. Kobe.
And then I think that's the year they lost to the Spurs in the conference finals.
They lost to the Spurs conference finals, and that's the year
that's the push year. That's the push year.
Yeah,
it's the Steve Nash into the scores table. Have you heard that? I heard Steve Nash talk recently, and he admitted that he flopped on that.
It's certain critical moments, right? That we remember that when players come out years later and talk about it, it's like, did you like off the top of my head, Paul Pierce, the Paul Pierce thing when he caught the cramp in the finals and everything. He's like, oh, it was so crazy. Just
when he got the wheelchair.
Yeah, he really got the wheelchair. Just to say he had to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, I know. Come on, I want to know if that's accurate. I want to know.
It's like, if he was just saying that just for the jokes, obviously the jokes gonna fly. It's hilarious, but honestly, it's like when somebody's like, Just keep it to yourself. Don't tell nobody.
I mean, that's kind of funny. I'm okay with it. 20
That's
years
hilarious.
later.
That's hilarious.
But it is kind of. I mean, I remember
hilarious.
everybody just thinking that was dramatic. Look, the NBA and all professional sports have always been filled with dramatics. We got to remember that this is theater. This is what this is, and I love it.
Yeah. Best league in the world, man.
Right.
Sticking with it.
I've been so happy watching this. But all right, so the Lakers advanced. Congrats to the Lakers. I think it's amazing. There's gonna be a lot of cool storylines or annoying storylines, however you want to look at it. But one that cannot be forgotten, that two things. LeBron is in his 10th finals. Amazing. Either the Heat or the Warriors have made every finals for the last 10 years.
That's crazy.
Kind of crazy, yeah.
That's crazy.
That's like, a weird, because it goes, it went LeBron, Heat, Warriors.
I got another stat for you. Going back for the last 30 years, every person that made the final was a teammate of Shaq's.
Is that still accurate or no? No, you said it stopped?
No, man, I just seen it a few days ago. I don't know if it continued or it stopped today, but going back like 35 years, every person that made the finals, every team that made the finals, somebody on the team was a teammate. Was a teammate of Shaq's. Like that's just one of those random, like, yo, that's crazy.
That's a funny stat. He was on a lot of teams and a lot of good teams,
especially at the end of his career. Yeah,
that's crazy. What was the? Oh, and Andre Iguodala's made his last six straight finals.
Six straight finals. Yeah,
and he contributed heavily in Game 6. He had 6 threes or some shit.
Yeah. Like he's always been everywhere you get. Andre Iguodala, I think he's gonna be on the list of guys that's underappreciated, but so good, right? That maybe could have been a superstar if he wanted to be more selfish. Like he definitely had the athletic ability, the swagger. He had the tools to really be bigger than what he probably was individually. But the fact that instead of that, though, he sacrificed and really became a professional. That everywhere he went, he's been a professional and fit in and made a run with Philly, with Denver, with Golden State, obviously, and now with Miami. Everywhere he went, he's been like that guy.
He's had an amazing career. Like I think amongst basketball people, he does get the pretty proper respect, I'd say, because Philly, he is the man there. I think he was an all-star at least once there.
Yeah, he was an all-star. Yeah,
took them to the playoffs. But then grand scheme, you look at some of those, he did have at least a time in his career where he was the guy on a team. But then if you look at his accolades, wins a finals MVP and does he currently have 3 rings? He has 3 rings with the Warriors.
3 rings, all 3 with Golden State.
If he can get a 4th ring here, he might have a case for the Hall of Fame. I mean,
he might. I mean, it's hard to argue.
Finals MVP and 4 rings.
Finals MVP and 3 rings along is just like
especially what a career for Iggy.
When you look at some of the players who are in, who've probably done less, but maybe had like he's done more. Just when you look at just everything he's done, like
he's probably gonna get it. I don't know all the. I gotta have to look at all the people, but I would imagine he might. That's not enough
at some point. Yeah, for first ballot, maybe not. Only depending on when he finishes. But when you look at just the entirety, 3 rings, even if that went in 3 rings. 6 straight finals, has a finals MVP. Like you pretty much you have to put him in at some point.
No, I'm with it. Springfield, Illinois too. So another Illinois person right there. So shout out to that Iguodala. So cool storylines. We mentioned so all those ones we mentioned. LeBron versus Riley. So I just heard today in an interview I was listening to. So everybody knows Riley was pissed when LeBron left. They really thought LeBron was going to stay with the Heat for a long time.
They thought so. And it wasn't reported that it kind of just came out of nowhere. He didn't give him a heads up or something like that. Like
which is
whatever crazy
what LeBron has done. But I think that Pat Riley was so hurt because he's the kind of guy. It's like mafioso when you go to the Heat. I think he thought, you come here, this is it. We're not going anywhere. We're not going. So he was really hurt.
We'll keep it together.
But then I heard that. So this is what's interesting is I heard that he texted LeBron. So I guess they never apologized or whatever. But he texted LeBron after he won the championship with the Cavs and said like congrats, and LeBron never responded. So they still haven't worked it over. That's a
little. Which honestly, obviously we don't know what's going on. So it definitely is something to watch for. But I feel like if LeBron can forgive Dan Gilbert.
Yeah, that was brutal.
Nothing, like Dan Gilbert, nothing. I mean, you can't blame Pat Riley, man. Like, one. I thought you were gonna stay. You didn't even give me the respect, give me a heads up. Everybody has a valid reason for why they feel the way they feel. But Dan Gilbert is up here, bro.
Yeah.
Nobody has done anything to match how Dan Gilbert came at LeBron's neck. And the
No.
fact that LeBron, like, yo, I remember, man, when he went back to Cleveland, I was so surprised. Because I was like, yo, me personally, obviously, we're all different men. Everybody can do what they want to do. But me, you write that whack letter and then come at me like that, I'm supposed to come help you out? Even if yes, it's my legacy, I want to do it for me, but no, bro.
No, the letter he
No.
wrote, I should go
No.
back and read the letter. The letter he wrote to him,
No.
I remember just being so
No.
brutal and so like personal, like
Yeah,
attack.
it wasn't even like fans will be okay, it's tough, thank him
Yeah.
for what he's done for this franchise. It was more like just a
Yeah.
really personal attack on him
Dude,
as a man.
Dan Gilbert,
Like, it
you're a
wasn't even
grown ass man. LeBron's in his 20s and he's the one of the richest young men in the entire world. Has already brought your team how much money?
like it'd be different if the letter was literally just like, fans, I know it's heartbreak, will be okay, thank him for what he's done, we'll move on. But to come at this man like how he came at him personally and just really try to down him, it's like, first of all, one part of the letter say we're gonna win before he will. Nobody really believed.
No,
Like,
no.
let's come on, man.
Dude,
Nobody, like, he didn't even believe that as he was writing that shit down. Like,
the NBA
nobody
is such like high school drama. We always talk about it. And LeBron is like the hot girl in high school who has the brutal breakups, and all these guys are like, they can't handle it. Like, she has the craziest break because he just like doesn't like. He hasn't told everybody, and he's like hurt all these owners' feelings. But you know what? You got to get over it. He's doing what the hell he wants to do.
You got it wrong, man.
And then speaking of NBA high school drama, my final favorite storyline before we get into our predictions of this series, we talked briefly about Hero. I talked extensively about his breakout performance. It's been awesome to watch. I actually have a friend of mine who he's older, he's my age, we played in college together, but he went to the same high school as him. And so he trained him like once, like when he was still in college, I think. So it's been just cool to see this evolution. But check this out. This storyline's cool. His current girlfriend, who's like this Instagram model, yeah, banging, right?
Yeah,
but she's Kyle Kuzma's ex-girlfriend.
Ex-girlfriend. Yeah.
This might be my favorite storyline of the whole series.
That storyline is fantastic. Yeah, that definitely is something that's hilarious. Definitely something we got to watch for. But honestly, Tyler Hero has been more impactful than Kyle Kuzma, which is crazy because Kyle Kuzma, I think, honestly, it's just a result of playing with LeBron and AD, and then also just being kind of in a weird role. Because don't forget, before there were expectations and things like that, Kyle Kuzma had a couple breakout performances over the past couple seasons. Like, he can hoop.
No, yeah,
like, he can hoop. He has the ability to be that third option. He just hasn't been that guy yet.
Yeah.
But he definitely has the talent to really be there.
He's good as a bucket getter, but I will say, like, even when I've seen him playing well, Kyle Kuzma, and like they're supposed to say he's like supposed to be the third best guy, gets buckets. First of all, he doesn't really pass. But when I've seen him get the ball, or when I've seen him really ball out, I don't think I've ever been as impressed as I have as when I've seen Hero ball out. Because I just like the way he plays. So like he just plays so he's so smart. I think he has a high ceiling. I think his ceiling is higher than Kuzma's, I guess I'd say.
I agree. I agree with that.
So I hope he shits out. I hope he shits out of it.
Yo, this gonna be one of those things where it's like Tyler Hero might individually outplay Kuzma, but
they gotta show his girl in the crowd. They gotta show her in the crowd. I love it. I'm all about it.
Yo, I love that dude, man.
These are the kind of storylines I like.
Amazing.
All right, so the Lakers are the odds-on favorite. I think in Vegas they're like 300 favorites. So that's like if you bet $300 on the Lakers, you would only win $100. So you could bet $100 on Miami, win $300. So they're not looking good in that regard. But what do you think? I've been going back and forth here. Like I said, I like Miami a lot, but you're obviously a Lakers fan. But what do you think?
I like Miami a lot, but honestly, I just think this is one of those things where Miami's team fits better. I would even dare say that Coach Spoelstra can outcoach Coach Vogel, but I just think the talent just kind of just LeBron, AD, and LeBron being focused and really right here like he is. I think that the talent, those two talents, are so great that they can account for so much. I just think the Lakers will win this, and I'm gonna go with Lakers in 6. I'm gonna give Miami 2 games. I just think they're tough. They definitely have a chip on their shoulder. And, they're gonna have a couple of breakout performances from from Hero. The Lakers still, when Miami gets hot, and the Lakers still obviously the Lakers have been okay and even surprisingly good at shooting threes, but it still isn't a strong suit that they can rely on.
Right.
Whereas Miami is a much more reliable shooting team, and the Lakers, defense, they still, as a perimeter, they still really can't really supremely rely on that.
Yeah.
Which again, Miami doesn't have a guy like a Damian Lillard, like a Westbrook, like a superstar kind of, they can give you 40 at the guard position, but they have so many offensive weapons at the guard position that the Lakers still just, have trouble guarding the perimeter a little bit. So because of that, I think that Miami can get 2 games.
Yeah, I'm interested by there's a lot of matchup interest too, because you got Bam, and then Crowder, so they're already there's Lakers are bigger. The Lakers are bigger than everybody they play.
Yeah.
So how are they going to match up with that? Are you going to put Bam on Anthony Davis? Are you going to put Crowder on Anthony Davis? Are you going to start Dwight Howard? Man, here's the thing. I picked the Lakers in the beginning of the season, and then Kobe dies, and I picked the Lakers again. I'm like, this is setting up for it.
Has to.
Then we start this, and I'm like, I picked the Lakers, and now I'm sitting here like, I really just want to pick Miami. Like, I want to.
I mean, Miami has been a great run. You definitely it's one of those. I'm going to roll with the Lakers. Obviously, it's my team.
Yeah.
Do it for Kobe. It's going to be talk about a perfect, amazing ending. It's going to be something you can make a movie about in the future. But Miami's one of those things that's like you can't actively root against them.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, even if you pick the Lakers to win, you're still not rooting against Miami.
If I go in my head game by game, I guess this is an easy way to so game by game. Game 1 tomorrow night. Who do I think is going to win game 1? That's I guess what I'd say.
Okay.
I think Lakers are winning game 1. I think Lakers. I got Lakers in 6. Lakers in 6 was my first prediction too.
Yeah.
God damn it! I was about to say Miami in 7. I was about to do it. I was trying to convince myself.
Honestly, I would say this. I think the way for Miami to win this, honestly, it has to be a quick series. If it was to go 7, because of the talent, because they have LeBron and AD, specifically LeBron, he's been there. I just think that leans more in the favor of the Lakers, man.
Well, what I think that is in the favor of Miami is the fact that I think we're gonna. I think it's gonna be a lot of close games. I think they're gonna be close games, which gives obviously the team that is the underdog has a chance if there's close games. So they could squeeze out a couple. Lakers in 6. I mean, the question, it's like, so Miami, do they do the zone? They did that zone against Boston. Do they do the zone against the Lakers? It's gonna be tough because they're shooting.
The Lakers don't really have any knockdown shooters. Yeah. Obviously, they get hot, they get heat checks, but
those bigs though, I feel like the lobs, that might be the issues. You get a lot of lobs there. You get LeBron or AD to get the ball in the middle of one of that zones. You probably, that's.
Yeah, they can shred it up.
They can shred it.
Go crazy.
So I think the Lakers are just gonna, and like one of those guys. All right, so who's gonna be like one of their guys that steps up? Is Kuzma gonna step up? Is Rondo gonna ball out this series? Who's gonna be their X factor?
What I think they've shown is like they kind of step up by committee. Rondo playoff Rondo's definitely appeared to have some really some good games. If KCP hits a couple of threes, if Morris hits a couple of threes. We're still waiting on Danny Green to show up.
He has not been playing.
We're still waiting on Danny Green. Get you between 3 to 5 threes again. We're still waiting on that consistently. Maybe this will be the series he does it. We're still waiting on that. But if they can just spread that out and they can get a couple of shots from there. I think it's just they've shown that just even for this run, obviously depending after this they're gonna do some retooling and see something better. But they'll step up by committee and just get a couple a little chipped in from everybody, and then just when you got LeBron and AD, you can any given night you can get 60, 70 points from both of them in any given night.
Will there be a game that is remembered for either like Alex Caruso or like Danny Green going off? Will they have one of those games in these finals? Will there be an Alex Caruso game or a Danny Green game?
So I don't know if they're gonna have a game in terms of stats, but I would get in terms of stats. I think Danny Green would have that more than Caruso because he's been there, been a champion.
I think he's gonna have one. He's got to make some shots sooner or later.
We're waiting for one. Again, he doesn't have to consistently hit 6 threes a game. Just one game where he just hits between 3 to 6 threes in that game and just really turns hot. Caruso, man, has been phenomenal. He's definitely had spurts and his athleticism is definitely complimented. And I think he'll have like a nice highlight. Caruso gonna catch a body. He's gonna catch a body. He's gonna catch a body. He's gonna catch a body. But in terms of like having one of those great games, it's like, finally, Danny Green, we need one. We need one game from him where you hit 3 to 6 threes, get hot, and just come on, man.
There's gonna be one point in these NBA finals where there will be Goran Dragic, Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson. Well, maybe not because Goran and Tyler don't always play together. Whatever. Goran, Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson. Could we get Kelly Olynyk in this lineup too? Maybe, and then have Alex Caruso on the other side. That's a lot of white dudes on the floor at one time.
I said it. White dudes have been hooping in the NBA, bro. White dudes have been hooping this bubble.
Yeah,
they
man.
are hooping. They going crazy.
We're counting the foreigners in this. I mean, because obviously Luka Doncic, is the coldest we ever seen. So.
Coldest white boy since this way since Larry Bird, man. So
all right, so we got Lakers in 6. Who's gonna win the Finals MVP?
Oh, LeBron.
Yeah, I think it's LeBron.
Like LeBron. I just think LeBron just, especially like narrowly missing the MVP and everything like that, and was everything that going on, LeBron will get the MVP.
I think so too.
Like,
there's a world.
I think AD would have to average like 40 and 10, and LeBron have to be like pedestrian 20 and 10, and even so, still like one thing he can't just have 2 rebounds a game. Like that can't happen.
Oh my God!
Right?
Yeah, what happened? How did he have those games?
For 2-3 straight games, he had like 2. The game they lost, he only had like 1 or 2 rebounds, if that. And then the closeout game, I think he had 3 total or 4.
But you know what though? I will say I'm a victim of this too, because I'm saying that too. Like, how did he only have these rebounds? But we always just watch the stats. I watch those games, and then when you think about it, he's guarding Jokic, and Jokic was really staying on the perimeter against those guys. He didn't want to go in. He didn't want to go in against Dwight Howard. So I mean, I don't know.
Okay,
it's a little different.
I guess. And when you look at it that way, the Lakers are too big, so they rebounded by committee and everything.
They were getting the rebounds. Yeah, it's not like they were getting killed.
So exactly. But yeah, I think LeBron getting Finals MVP. But in order for AD to get it, he has to have like some monster, like just average like 40.
He has to have like 2. Yeah, he has to have like 2 50-point games or something.
Yeah, he has something go crazy. And whereas LeBron has to just be like pedestrian 20 or like 18 and 8 or some low that we like haven't if he has those games which is a solid game, it's like, oh my God, that's terrible for LeBron. So but
it's so true. I think LeBron's he's Finals MVP. The cool thing is if the Heat can somehow find a way to get this victory, which I would love, that there's so many options for Finals MVP. How cool would it be if Iguodala played good for 4 victories?
That'd be crazy. That'd be crazy if he got it. If, I don't know, Tyler Hero just got hot and got it, or Goran Dragic got it. Obviously, I think Jimmy Butler.
If Jimmy Butler could win the Finals MVP, that would be awesome.
Like that'd be definitely a big FU to everybody who doubted him. But they have a lot of options. They do have options.
No, I like it. I'm really excited to watch these finals. So we got game 1 starting tomorrow. I don't know what they're doing schedule wise. Actually, let me check this out real quick.
I think it starts tomorrow. I had it written down.
But then do they go Friday, Sunday, or how are they doing?
Tomorrow, Friday, Sunday. Yep. And then Tuesday, Friday, Sunday, Tuesday again. If those last 3 games necessary.
They're gonna pound it. Yeah, it's gonna be pretty fast here. All right.
Yeah, it's quick turnaround.
We might have to do an update next week to see where we're at. Maybe I can change my pick to the Heat. We'll keep it at Lakers in 6. That's dope. I'm really excited for these finals. You got any other notes about the finals that is going to be interesting, or that you want to see like specifically?
I want to see if the Lakers wear the Black Mamba jerseys, because they're undefeated in those jerseys. So if they win those jerseys that game, they have to win and keep their streak alive.
They're undefeated in those,
undefeated in those jerseys. So they wear those jerseys.
That's the AD buzzer beater. They were wearing those, no?
Yep, they were. So it's definitely something that's fantastic.
That's something to be said there. Yeah, that's cool. And then we'll see. It's so weird because you always think about the NBA Finals, they're like all the celebrities on the sideline, all this shit. We're not getting any of that. So this is something where the finals literally would have been in LA and Miami. Yeah, I know that. Yes,
it's mid-June. LA and Miami are the finals. Could you imagine just what it'd be like?
Could you imagine how? Well, I mean, I'm saying Kuzma and Hero because they're young, but those guys going out in those cities during the finals. Oh my God!
LA and Miami would have been the finals. Well, I honestly, I would have had to find a way to be in those cities. Right. Like I would have to find a way, and I watch the game from a hotel room or something. I will have to find a way it could be there because it would have been crazy.
This
It
is
is crazy.
Yeah, that's another storyline for Pat Riley is that he was the former coach of the Magic. I mean, of the Lakers when they were the
Lakers.
Showtime Lakers. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So Pat Riley definitely has a Godfather vibe. Been around a long time. Definitely.
Yeah. Right.
You know, like he's good.
Jimmy.
Wait, I do one more thing. I do.
Yeah.
What about if whoever wins, Deion Waiters is eligible to get the ring?
Oh yeah.
Yo.
Wait, when did he get traded?
At the deadline, wasn't it? It wasn't a deadline. So I think it's at Miami's discretion that if they actually want to give him one. But he is eligible though. If Miami was to win, he is eligible to get one.
Good for him, Deion. That's hilarious.
Oh, man. Crazy.
He's that happened to somebody else, right? Anderson
What you
Varejao?
No, it happened to Varejao too with the Warriors and the Cavs. And it just happened to
Matt Barnes just got his ring.
Matt Barnes, I think was it Valanciunas? Wasn't he with Toronto? And he left from Toronto to Memphis. And I think he didn't get his though.
Oh, really?
Memphis decided. I think I was just reading a story a couple of days ago. Memphis decided to not give him his.
Or Toronto decided.
Yeah. I said Memphis. Toronto decided not to give him his. I think it's at that team's discretion.
Decided after they said fuck him.
I think it's at the team's discretion to not give it to him. So
maybe Deion Waiters, maybe the Heat, if they win, they will decide not to give it to Deion Waiters because they didn't like him.
Which would be crazy. Yeah, which the way he left wasn't the best.
I don't think that'd be shocking.
It really wouldn't. It really would not be shocking at all. It actually would be shocking if they actually decided to give him one if he did win.
Maybe they will. Who knows? That's funny. Yeah. No, but it's like like you said, the Pat Riley mafioso. Like you betrayed us. You betrayed our trust.
Yeah. Like, and Pat Riley definitely seems one of those guys like you got me, I'll take care of you. One of my guys, I got you.
Yeah, I think that's why he loves Jimmy so much. It's like a perfect marriage. It feels like feels like Jimmy is just one of his guys. Like,
it definitely seems like a perfect fit. Like Jimmy and Jay Crowder from back from the Marquette days and everything like that. It just, I'll tell you, Miami, it just fits. Like they just the culture is perfect. Shout out to Udonis Haslem. Like just the culture and like obviously with UD being there,
gray
like,
beard on the sideline, just
right.
Like,
talk about a Godfather OG. Like that. Talk about like man, like just it's just like again, Lakers fan was gonna win, but I like Miami's team a lot. If it was any other team, I definitely would be rooting for Miami. But it's just like a perfect fit for
Udonis Haslem should never pay for dinner in Miami ever.
Absolutely not. No, absolutely not. Absolutely
he probably
not.
doesn't. So
yeah, probably honestly doesn't. And just the things he does, just as a vet in the NBA, but also in the community and things like that. Like man, it's like we definitely need more guys like that. Just not even just in professional sports, but just in our neighborhoods in general, man. Like it'd be a lot of things would be different if we have more guys like him and just like being around, man.
Right. No, for sure. Shout out to Udonis Haslem. Maybe he can get another ring. That'd be good for him. So Heat Nation, I know, even though we got Lakers in 6, I know you're a Lakers fan, so that's all right. But we're excited for some more basketball. I'm pumped. Hopefully people can prepare, can listen to this and prepare to hear literally about these storylines for all week.
We're gonna hear about them consistently. Like for next week, we're gonna hear about this consistently.
Just show us Tyler Hero's girlfriend. We'll be good. We'll be happy. All right. Well, there was our predictions. Let's check back in and we see how the series goes.
Yes, sir. We definitely it's gonna be a good one. Like NBA Finals, which we didn't think we were gonna get 6 months ago. Here we are, and here we go.
Yeah, here we go. Game 1 tomorrow night. I'm excited. So I appreciate you, and I don't know. Till next time, let's talk.
Always have me on, bro. Appreciate you. Thanks a lot,
all right, man. Peace.
Peace.
All right, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of The David Lopez Show. Thank you to my guy KT for coming on. Always like talking some good NBA stuff. I'm really excited for the finals if you couldn't hear it from my voice throughout this one. But thank you as always for listening. We'll be back. Actually, I'll be recording another episode tomorrow. Tomorrow will be the NFL episode. I got to get my bets in for the weekend. And I'll let you know how I did last week. I like doing these every week. So, once again, if you could subscribe, like, share, comment, whatever it is you do to support the podcast. And I want you to know that I really, truly appreciate it. Go to thedavidlopez.com, go to passionparkent.com to keep up with everything Passion Park, entertainment-wise. Yeah, you know what it is. I don't know. All right, I'm going to get out of your hair. I don't know. Enjoy some sports, guys. One love.